What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, keeping you up to date on all the latest wrestling news, rumors and reports. Today we're talking everything that went down on SmackDown with John Cena getting refused by Roman Reigns, getting a brand new challenge, and we're talking some backstage news on what exactly WWE is planning, because that John Cena versus Roman match is still happening. We got a recently fired superstar slamming WWE's booking, backstage news on a top superstar missing Raw over the last couple of weeks, and more of the latest. So you guys know what to do. Hit those notifications and let's get into it. With SmackDown last night, WWE gave us something a bit unpredictable, and that is not giving us the John Cena versus Roman Reigns match for SummerSlam, or at least not announcing it just yet, because they do have a plan and that match is set to happen, so do not freak out. So as we got to see, Roman Reigns ended up declining John Cena's challenge, but he accepted Finn Balor's match. In the opening segment, we had John Cena issuing this challenge to Roman Reigns for SummerSlam, but instead Paul Heyman came out and just mocked John Cena's theme song, which was hilarious, by the way, and then he just walked off. Then in the main event, Roman Reigns came out, made fun of John Cena, how he has been the same since 2005, and he ended up cutting a hell of a promo. In the end, he declined to accept John Cena's challenge, but Finn Balor walked out to the ring and he issued his own challenge. Roman Reigns accepted, but it was not said if that match will happen at SummerSlam, and that is the big key out of all of this. Even in commentary, Michael Cole indicated that Roman Reigns has accepted the challenge, that the match will be happening, but he didn't mention it will be at SummerSlam. And basically, according to most of the reports right now, most speculations, is that this match is gonna be happening on SmackDown as we head into SummerSlam. And this is a good plan for many different reasons. It's gonna keep Roman Reigns busy while he still feuds with John Cena, who, as we know, WWE is trying to minimize his matches as much as possible. John Cena getting injured is something that nobody wants, especially Hollywood, and that's gonna cause a lot of problem if it does happen. So inserting Finn Balor into the mix will cause WWE to not have John Cena wrestle on a weekly basis to hype up his match against Roman at SummerSlam. We are a bit away from that, so they gotta fill up sometimes. So as the wrestling news.co indicate, this match will probably be going down on a future episode of SmackDown to boost up the ratings of SmackDown and make it a special SmackDown episode, and then in the end it will lead to John Cena finally getting his match at the big pay-per-view. They don't want to do the Roman Reigns versus John Cena interactions, so pushing Finn into that main event position already is a really good sign that hopefully they have good things for him over the next couple of weeks. To emphasize how protective WWE is gonna be over John Cena, there was a dark main event after SmackDown. Of course, we ended up getting a 6-way tag team match as the Mysterio teamed up with John Cena to go against Roman Reigns and the Usos. Keeping John in tag team matches like this is gonna help so that he doesn't have to take any crazy bumps, but the audience still gets to see him do some of the favorite spots. On to some other news. On Monday Night Raw, we have Randy Orton, who hasn't showed up to Raw in a couple of weeks. A lot of fans are wondering what is the situation in regards to that. Fightful Select reports that the reason he has been off TV is due to him being placed on the quote-unquote disabled list. It was noted that there are no issues between Randy Orton and WWE, and that the hope is that from all sides that he will be back in time for the August 2nd episode of Raw. WWE did have creative plans for Randy Orton and Matt Riddle through SummerSlam, but the quote-unquote unforeseen circumstances of Randy Orton's absence require an audible to be called. So overall, not a concrete reason for his absence just yet, but they are working for his return to get him set up for SummerSlam, and he will likely link back up with Matt Riddle, considering that Riddle continued to tease it and all of that. Onto some other news. We know how difficult that creative is in WWE and how awkward that booking usually is. And this week we had Aleister Black finally opening up and slamming WWE main roster bipolar booking. Aleister Black indicated that he loved the time that he had on NXT, but that when it came to the main roster he felt like he didn't do anything significant broken and that he was on the verge of basically leaving the company, not re-signing with them if whatever else they were gonna do didn't work out. So he was just waiting for something to stick, and then it felt like something was finally gonna work out. They built him up for 6 weeks. He was gonna feud with Big E, but then he gets released, which at that point he felt like it was just hilarious because of the way that the company is. He stated the following: "I was sick of it even before everything went down. I love my time in NXT, but I felt I did nothing of importance on the main roster. It was a too much bipolar 50-50 booking. They will push me and put me off TV." Then added the following: "Honestly, that's 50-50 booking the entire product right now. There's nothing really consistent. Everything changes week to week, or it is done to the point of beating it to death," which we can certainly agree with. Just look at how many rematches we get. Instead of them building up to a big matchup at a pay-per-view, we just get it every single week after week, and then also at the pay-per-view. The only superstar that don't get that type of treatment is Roman Reigns, and that's because he probably got Paul Heyman right next to him, letting him know it's not a good idea for you to face your opponent weekly and then also at the pay-per-view. To this day, we are still getting Natalya and Tamina facing off against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. The Alpha Academy versus the Street Profit. Carmella just got 2 title matches on SmackDown back-to-back weeks, even though she lost the first one. So even SmackDown, which we obviously love, SmackDown has been phenomenal, but even that has some of the negatives, which superstars that has been released continue to complain about, and that we continue to see some of that poor booking on a weekly basis. And before ending this roundup, we're talking what else went down on this week's SmackDown on the July 23rd, 2021 episode. So we started off with John Cena setting up the challenge. Roman Reigns doesn't come out. Paul Heyman goes we then get Finn Balor getting a massive reaction just like last week, defeating Sami Zayn. The Street Profit defeated Alpha Academy, and SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair defeated Carmella. Those last 2 matches ended up happening at the Rolling Loud Music Festival, which surprisingly enough did have some fans interested in what was going on. I do hate that WWE piped in those crowd noises though. Even out of the Thunderdome, those fake crowd noises are gonna continue to hunt us down. We had Edge and Seth Rollins confronting each other, so they're already building towards that SummerSlam match. Edge looked to get payback on Seth Rollins for costing him the Universal title. At the end of the segment, he attacked him. We had Toni Storm defeating Zelina Vega, who, by the way, I don't think she has won a match since returning. We had the Usos once again getting the best out of the Mysterios, picking up the victory, all leading to the main event segment. Roman Reigns comes out. He refuses John Cena's challenge. Out comes Finn Balor to everybody's surprise. That was unpredictable. And Finn Balor says, if you're not interested in John Cena's challenge, maybe you're interested in mine. The crowd is hyped up, so Roman Reigns got no choice but to accept the challenge. So that's gonna be going down in the near future. That is all that went down on this week's SmackDown and all the latest wrestling news and reports. If you guys enjoyed the coverage or found it informative, don't forget to elbow drop it and hit those notifications. I'll catch you guys on the next one, so stay savage.